Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman did an episode of their podcast with Balal Muhammad as a guest last year, but it never aired. The reason may be because a fight broke out. Apparently, punches were thrown and even a kick, according to Cejudo, who told Mike Bone about it.
It was, I almost got kicked, bro. Like, there's punches were thrown, dude. And I had Mastabenko at that time. So, Kamaru Usman, and Belal, dude. Belal almost kicked me to my head, dude. Luckily, I did a little slip, but yeah, it was definitely rated R.
Podcast and like just broke him down like verbally, mentally, spiritually, and I could just see it in his face that he did not like not being the guy on top, right? Didn't like being the champion. Even like little parts in his podcast where I was like, yeah, it feels good to be on top. Everybody's looking upward at me, and he was like, I ain't looking upward at you. I'm like, yeah, the rankings tell me that you are looking upward at me. So these guys, they just still have it in their head. They still can't believe it.
That's to show our respect. Of course, he was a new champion, so to show our respect, come on the podcast. And he did come on the podcast, but
that shit was 180. So my thing is
in typical,
will that 180 be shown?
In typical Balal fashion. Of course, Balal did Balal, so the interview didn't go as planned. It wasn't that great of an interview, anyways. It wasn't even that long, but it went the way that it went, and that was the biggest moment of his life because that's all that he seems to want to talk about. I haven't mentioned it at all because it wasn't that eventful, but that's all he seems to want to talk about all the time. But it is what it is. We hear you fans, and like I said, we will definitely drop the interview if we get really, really low on content.
Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziev moves to UFC 316 June 7th. Originally, it was supposed to be on May 17th. That's number 12 and 7 in the heavyweight division. Number 50 in ranked Kennedy Nzechukwu in the heavyweight division takes on Martin Budai, who's unranked, Saturday at the UFC Apex. There's some chatter about Waldo Cortez Acosta, who's number 11 in the heavyweight division, taking on number 9 ranked Derek Lewis, but Cortez Acosta says Lewis ain't ready, so he's looking to fight Marcin Tybura, who's ranked number 8.
To me, Marcin Tybura, I'm ready for you.
UFC could add Ryan Bader to the mix. He's a free agent. Ryzen is also a possibility for him.
I mean, we've been talking with Ryzen a little bit, and I have a couple kind of grappling offers, which would be more, just on the fun side. Ryzen's kind of intriguing, with that movie being filmed and about, pride and Saitama Super Arena, all that kind of stuff with it. Movie coming out in the fall. It'd be a cool little segue to go in potentially and fight in Japan after that. And that's for me, just thinking about that. I had interest in it. It sounds fun. I want to go in there, and I've always liked to fight in different arenas, different organizations. Coming over to Bellator was fun. Doing the heavyweight Grand Prix was fun. And so this isn't just a normal fight to me. It's something that I would want to do.
The movie Bader is referencing is Benny Safdie's film The Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne Johnson as MMA fighter Mark Kerr. Got strong reactions at a recent screening. Instead of a typical biopic, it takes a wild, almost spoof-like approach, surprising audiences. With a $40 million budget and Emily Blunt co-starring, the film covers Kerr's early 2000s UFC days and struggles with addiction. If you're not interested in the Hollywood account, the 2002 documentary on Kerr by the same name may be of more interest.
So it took something for you to get 7 fucking tattoos, right, you goofy bitch? Stop talking to me, Chris.
Jessica Eye signs with BKFC. She's a former flyweight title challenger in the UFC. She lost that fight, though, for the title against Valentina Shevchenko. Got knocked out with a head kick. She trades the 4-ounce gloves for no gloves in bare-knuckle boxing.
I started out boxing. Stipe and I both did, right? We both came from strong style. We both started out our career with boxing first. Our coach, after I retired and spent some time working on my mental health, working on my physical body, I was just like, I know I'm not done. And the fact that Jake Paul and just the way that boxing has been going and watching bare knuckle just take a completely new lane, why not? I'm still young. I still have all the ability in me to be able to fight, and they need some good strikers over there. Some of us good MMA girls need to come over and show them, how tough we are. They reached out to me right after I retired, and I was really I needed a break. I feel like I started fighting when I was 19. It had been nonstop for me, that I didn't even know who I really was. That me stepping away allowed me to spend more time figuring out who I was times. And I threw out some crazy numbers to them about wanting me to return. And when they finally came financially correct and motivated me enough to be like, you know what, maybe these guys will take care of me in a way that, I wasn't taken care of in my UFC fight.
With Carlos Prates no longer on the card with Jeff Neal at UFC 314 April 12th, now out of the main card is Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. That kicks off the main card. Then you got Rodriguez versus Pitbull, then Mitchell versus Silva, Chandler versus Pimblett, and the main event, Volkanovski versus Lopez. Nazim Sadahov wants to fight in Baku in June. That's where he's from. Raised in Brooklyn, but born in Baku.
The Azerbaijan Democratic Republic.
Second main event for Lerone Murphy. Berth 1 was 2 fights back versus Edson. He's looking to be king in the Apex Saturday against Josh M.
I love it. Yeah, it's a nice poster. Plan to have a room with all my fight stuff, memorabilia, the fight shorts, posters from previous fights. So hopefully I can keep adding to them posters.
Man, look, guys, I'm about to go around with Big Bro, but I think I'm gonna have to do a GoFundMe for some of them taxes I had to pay in London. Man, my cows is going hungry. I can't even feed my cows no goddamn hay with all the money they took from me. So I think this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a GoFundMe, 5 cents per follower, and I think I'll be straight. Y'all just help me out.
Joe Pyfer receives some backlash for his comments about Mexico. He wants to rematch Kelvin, but only in the US of A. Surely Kelvin, also an American, will have no problem with that.
That's the American dream.
UFC, past versus current broadcast deal cycles. The most striking takeaway is the dramatic increase in the value of UFC's broadcast rights. The total value of the current cycle, $2.1 billion, is significantly higher than the past cycle, $840 million. It clearly demonstrates the UFC's increasing popularity and market value. The substantial growth in broadcast rights deals indicates that major media companies see significant potential in the sport. The New York Post's Eric Richter has recently suggested that streaming service Netflix will almost definitely be the broadcaster of the UFC once their deal with ESPN expires.